Come to order. Please stand as we recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, with that, we will begin our.
Sorry, my bad. Oh my God, okay. Everyone, give me a I think I fixed it.
With that, keep that conversation similar. Thank you. We'll do our line acknowledgement. Would you please pull the line acknowledgement?
Yep, I need a second. to start this one.
Colorado State University acknowledges with respect that the land we are on today is the traditional and ancestral homelands of the Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Ute nations and peoples. This was also a site of trade, a gathering and healing for numerous other native tribes. We recognize the indigenous people as original stewards of this land and all the relatives within it. As these words of acknowledgement are spoken and heard, the ties natives have to the traditional homelands are renewed and reaffirmed. CSU is founded as a land grant institution, and we accept that our mission must encompass access to education and inclusion, and significantly, that our founding came at a dire cost to Native nations and peoples whose land this university was built upon. This acknowledgement is the education, including we must practice in recognizing our institutional history, responsibility, and commitment. Okay, with that, we will now do our beginning roll call. To hear your name, please say present or here. For what purposes? This is chair seat recognition.
I would like to motion to amend the agenda to add Charlie Williamson to be sworn in this evening. The RHA liaison, and if you're in the back, can you please say your name because I don't remember it. My apologies. Would you use a microphone? I can't hear you. Just come down to the floor.
Adam Perkins.
Thank you. And to add a small presentation from the chair of budgetary affairs right at the beginning of the consent agenda. Oh wait, no, I don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah, no, that bill's pulled.
Never mind. Just this first two.
Hey, is there a second to the motion?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Please will the acting parliamentarian put that on the agenda. Thank you.
And do we do the RHA? We're gonna do the RHA.
Hmm?
I need help spelling your name. Steven,
use the
could you help?
ADAM, HARPIN, Adam Perkins. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, we will now begin our beginning roll call.
Nope, swearing in the senators and associates.
Okay, we will now begin our swearing in with the senators and associate senators. Please, if you hear your name, please come up to be sworn in.
And I added Adam Huffman.
Charlie Williamson, Senator, Pride Resource Center. Adam Harkins, RHA liaison. Will a member of the ASCSU Judicial Court please do the oath of office? Mm-hmm.
Can you repeat after me in unison? I state your name.
Please, the mic.
I, Charlie Williamson,
You guys can do that same.
I, Adam Harkins,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to defend and uphold
to
to defend and uphold
the rules and regulations
the rules and regulations
set forth by the Constitution
set forth by the Constitution
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University,
and will rightfully perform
and will rightfully perform
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Remove the plaque. You get off it. Be so
Okay. With that, I'll do that first of all. I'd like to, I'm just, one more change to the agenda. I'm removing plaque bill number 5105. The acting parliamentary police. All right, we'll now begin our beginning roll call. Clerk will call the roll.
Senator Silverheart,
present.
Senator Sandoval. Senator Shepherd. Senator Baum,
Present.
Senator Deason,
Present.
Senator Nyberg,
Present.
Present.
Senator Brown. Senator Scherer. Present. Senator Pyfrom,
Present.
Senator Moshe. Senator May, present. Senator Tennyson,
Present.
Senator Rosales Garcia. On Zoom.
Sam Mills is on Zoom.
Senator Long,
Sorry, present, sorry.
Senator Correa,
Present.
Senator Martyr,
Present.
Senator Mumford, present. Senator Bilodeau. Okay. Senator Laffey,
Present.
Senator Trout,
Present.
Senator Kramer, present. Senator Carceto,
Present.
Senator Tulis, Senator Anthony,
Present.
Senator Byrd, Senator Williamson, Associate Senator Tequesta, or Tequesta, Associate Senator Tefra, Associate Senator Quintana,
Present.
Associate Senator Reeves, present. Associate Senator Patterson, Associate Senator Davis, Speaker of the Senate Hill,
Present.
Speaker Pro Tempore Jenkins, Parliamentarian Hunter, Chair Athey, here. Chair Welch,
Here.
Chair Osterhout, present. Chair Morgan,
Present.
Chair Ritter, present. And Officer Torstoxy.
Present. Is there any name that has not been called? Who-
Senator Moshe. I think I just missed my name.
You're not just present.
Associate Senator Martin.
Okay. Okay, with that, we will now move into our consent agenda. Is there any dissent from approving our consent agenda and approving last week's minutes? Seeing none, we will now move into, not leave, we have guest speakers today. We'll move to our gallery input. Is there any member of the gallery wishing to speak? Seeing none, We will now move to executive reports. Is there any member of the executive branch wishing to speak? All right, seeing none. Any judicial reports? Is there any member of the judicial branch wishing to speak? The chair recognizes Deputy Chief Justice Boyenko for 10 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, Senate, for your time. Just a quick update for judicial reports today. RAM recognition cards are coming to a close. I highly recommend you write cards for your senators and associates, your fellow peers along the benches. This legislative branch is by far the least recognized branch in the organization. That is not just to say with RAM recognition. I think like overarching, the senators are not recognized for their work. And this project gives you an avenue to recognize your peers for their hard work. So I ask you to utilize this and really show your appreciation for your peers. Those cards are available right outside the conference room under the big RAM recognition poster. Also, coffee with the cards went really well a couple weeks ago. We'll be doing that again in December, this time with not with coffee, with hot chocolate for our non-coffee drinkers. Other than that, we are excited to welcome a new associate next week and hopefully get them through the ratification process. So with that, I yield my time. Thank you.
All right. Is there any other member from the judicial branch wishing to speak? Seeing none, we will move to committee reports, starting with budgetary affairs. Chair recognizes Chair Osterhout for 10 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Hey, y'all. It's me, Lizzie. I use the she, her, sis pronouns, and I do chair budgetary affairs. I'm having a slow night. Let's see. This week, exciting news. As always, we're switching it up. You can find budgetary affairs this Friday at 3 in LSC room 378. And after this week, we will not be jumping around like crickets. This is our room for the rest of the semester into December. So you can count on coming to that same very room every single week now. We're not jumping around. Make it your new home. Only from Fridays 3 to 4. But we are doing some great work. Last week, we discharged 2 pieces of legislation, and I'm really proud of seeing committee members and even my leadership growing into their roles and just seeing you all really just grow into the leadership you are here at ASCSU. We're going to have an exciting week again. Never slow in budgetary. We have a couple pieces of legislation. We still have to get to the Lex and the bylaws. I don't know. Let me plant a little seed in your head. Maybe budgetary affairs might host emergency meeting. Maybe we host it next week. Maybe it'll just last like, I don't know, a little bit longer. I don't know. I need to figure that out just to discharge bylaws. But it's not too much of a precedent, but it really is a precedent. Yeah, you all will see the bills we'll get after tonight, but it's Fridays at 3 p.m.-ish. I should have flyers up around the office soon. I don't know if y'all have been seeing my weekly flyers. Really enjoy it. Put a lot of time into those. But if you all have any questions, thoughts, concerns, outrages, please reach out to me or my vice chair, Alex Silverhart, or my secretary, Bailey Shepherd, if you feel like it too. And expect a little cute thing from us as leadership in budgetary next week. It was brought to my attention by my vice chair and secretary that maybe we didn't go over the budget. Maybe we should educate everyone on the budget. So next week, we're doing a quick crash course about the budget. Nice and easy. It's not that complicated. It's going to be like a fun crash course video. Maybe we'll do a skit. I don't know. We haven't thought about it. But that is my report. Fridays at 3-ish in room 378. Thank you. That's my time.
Okay. The chair recognizes the Chair of Internal Affairs, Chair Avey, for 10 minutes.
Thank you, Speaker Hill. Sorry, it's really weird to be the parliamentarian. Jackson is amazing. This week we worked some more on the job description. I want to give a nice shout out to my vice chair, Samantha May, who did a fantastic job chairing the entire committee. Very proud of her. Internal is Fridays from 2 to 3 in that conference room back there. So see you all on Friday. Thank you, I yield.
Okay. University Affairs, the chair recognizes Chair Welch for 10 minutes.
Hello, everyone. So last week we didn't have anything in university, so we quickly talked. And so we'll be tomorrow on Thursday from 4 to 5 in that room right over there. Thank you, and I yield my time.
All right, we will now do women's caucus. The chair recognizes Chair Morgan for 10 minutes.
Hey y'all, I'm Treasure Morgan. My voice is still coming back, if you don't remember. So sorry. But yes, I'm a chair of Women's Caucus, she, her, hers, also an associate senator for the Native American Culture Center. And we do meet bi-weekly. So we will be meeting tomorrow at 11 a.m. and in the conference room. So come by if you want to have a conversation or something similar. But that's all I have. So yeah.
The chair recognizes Chair Ritter for Diversity and Inclusion Caucus for 10 minutes.
Hey everyone, this is Mia. I'm the chair for Diversity Inclusion Caucus. I'm also the senator for the Native American Cultural Center. So yeah, I got caucus going on this Friday at 1 p.m. in the conference room right behind us. Not too much going on. This will be our last caucus before fall break, and then we, I think one more time after we come back. So I encourage y'all to come. Hope to see y'all there. Bring your questions, concerns, troubles, outrageous, anything. I hope to see y'all there. 1 to 2 p.m. Friday. Unity Square. I yield.
All right, with that, we'll now move into our legislative officer report, starting with the Speaker of the Senate. Hey, y'all. A few things to report. First of all, we have a few more sessions left before the end of the semester. I believe we have next week, the week after spring break, and dead week, so 3 more Senate sessions, and then we are finished with the semester. So that means that there will be 3 more opportunities for everyone to make sure they get their office hours in and everything. And it will reset after the dead week. So therefore, anybody who's gotten a strike will automatically have 0 again, start with 0. So that is the good news. Secondly, I've been working on a piece of legislation regarding the bike camera bill, and I have been working on some other initiatives, putting it all together. I have a meeting with the CSU PD, and I believe that as well regarding this. So pretty soon we're scheduling that. So we don't have an exact date and time, but hopefully we will momentarily. So if you have any questions or want to help work with me on that, please let me know. Let's see. Remember, Clockify attendance, and you're attending all your committees. This applies to all senators and associate senators must attend a committee of your choosing. This is required in the job descriptions. Tailgating is continuing. If you want to help, this will give a good opportunity to meet your constituents and different people around campus. So if you want to go to a tailgate or help set up, you can talk to our director of traditions programs, Nathaniel Goldstein from Nate Goldstein. So yeah, so I think that is all I have. That's basically it. So I will now we do not have our speaker pro tempore. She is currently out. We don't have our parliamentarian. We do have a recruitment retention officer. The chair recognizes Officer Torres Doxy for 10 minutes. Reminder to make sure you say point of order, point of information, and please use the mic. For all purposes, do you seek recognition?
So Emory has important stuff to say, and they did say they can come in. So should we at least try to get to them before we just go on to the next thing?
Okay. Point of order, her pronouns are now she, hers. And for all purposes, do you seek recognition, Jerry?
Motion to move Speaker Pro Tem for report to after Senator and Associate Senator reports.
Okay, requires a 2/3 majority since the change in agenda. Is it seconded?
Seconded.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Guys have it. Please make that change acting parliamentary. Okay, I will now recognize Officer Torres Doxy for 10 minutes for recruitment and retention officer reports.
Hi everyone. My name is Ben Tortosoxy. For anyone in the space who might not know who I am, my pronouns are he, him, his. And my report tonight, I was planning to have like an inner branch, like
Please keep side conversations to a minimum. Thank you.
an inner branch like night where all three branches could like come together and like kind of just hang out in the Senate space. It'd kind of be like so like right before so 2 weeks before finals, so the week after break. If y'all have any input on that or anything you'd like to see during that night, just kind of space to like hang out, relax, kind of get homework off your mind. So yeah, if y'all have any input, feel free to email me about that. So yeah.
Okay. All right, with that, we will now do our senator and associate senator reports. Ready? Starting with the adult learner and veteran services. The chair recognizes Senator Anthony for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Hey, everybody, just want to let you guys know that since Veterans Day is tomorrow, we're doing a national roll call. Pretty much a bunch of people volunteer and we all read off a list of names of individuals that have given their life over the past 2 decades in the global war against terror. So if you guys want to pop in and take a peek at that, I highly recommend it. Just want to show some support to some veterans that have laid down their life for the country. That's happening tomorrow from 7 to 7. Also want to let you guys know that from 12 to 1 tomorrow in the Gray Rock room, we will also be doing a like sleep health awareness like little like conference too. So if you want to learn a little bit about like healthy sleeping patterns and like how to improve your sleep quality, I highly recommend going to that as well. And on Friday, we're also going to have a financial aid and scholarship workshop. So if you yourself or you know any individuals that are student veterans or adult learners that want to go get some more information about how to like better use your financial aid and GI Bill and that kind of stuff, definitely hit that up on Friday. And then on Saturday from 2 to 5, we're doing the military tailgate. Highly recommend going as well. I'll be there. See you guys there. Hope you guys come out. And then of course, we're obviously having our big military game, CSU versus Air Force. Hope to see you guys there. That's all I got. I yield.
Okay, with that, Chair recognizes the Asian Pacific American Cultural Center. Chair Officer Torres Doxy, Chair recognizes you for 5 minutes.
Hi everyone. So Chai to Understand is a weekly event on Wednesday that APAC holds on Wednesdays. We have our final one for not the semester, but for until break next Tuesday, and that's trans history within the APITA community. So APAC and the Pride Resource Center are coming together to share the history of trans-related identities in APITA cultures, pre-colonization / Western influence. So if you're interested in that, it's this place you can go learn about all this. Also share your story if you have one related to it. And yeah, and just a reminder, let's try to use y'all, everyone, because not everyone identifies as guys. So just a reminder. Yeah.
All right. Chair recognizes the Senator Associate Senator from the Black African American Cultural Center. All right, seeing none. College of Agricultural Sciences. Okay, seeing none. College of Business. Senator Baum, Chair recognizes you for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Again, everyone, the Integrity Forum is tomorrow at 6 to 8 in the LLC Cherokee Ballroom. There will be pizza, and you can win an Amazon gift card of $50. Thank you. I yield.
Okay. Any senator or associate senator from the College of Health and Human Services? Please hold your placard high. The chair recognizes Senator Kramer for 5 minutes.
Hi, everyone. My name's Caroline, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. I just want to let you guys know real quick that our Dean's Leadership Council is working on a passion project for food insecurity. We just voted on it. More details will be worked out in our next meeting next Thursday, but just excited about that happening. I yield.
Okay. Chair recognizes any Senator Associate Senator from the College of Liberal Arts. Chair recognizes Senator Trout for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Hi, y'all. My name is Sammy. I go by he, him, his series pronouns. Thank you to anyone and everyone who attended last night's University Chorus performance. From the bottom of my heart, I truly, really appreciate it. Have some more dates coming for y'all. So give me just 1 second to get that up. Okay. So our theater program is still performing Lysistra. I apologize if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. It is a show about basically a rallying cry for women. It's a huge women advocacy performance, and I would really appreciate if y'all would go to those. They are performing every night until the 14th on Sunday. The dance program is doing their fall dance concert from the 12th to the 13th. There are virtual options available for that. The new music ensemble will be tomorrow night, Thursday, November 11th, and the jazz ensemble concert will be Thursday, November 18th. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about anything going on at the UCA, please come see me or reach out to me. And with that, I yield.
Okay, with that, Chair recognizes Senator Associate Senator from the College of Natural Sciences. Senator Shepherd, Chair recognizes you for 5 minutes for College of Liberal Arts.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Hi, all. Bailey here. I just figured I'd want to give the Senate and LSAB update, seeing as how you all elected me to serve on it, and I figured it's my best interest to share what we've been talking about with the Senate body. This last week, we had some discussions. 2 weeks ago, we invited Representative Andrew Baysnecker to have a conversation with us, and I am sure a few of you sat in on that conversation. It was really great. We talked about possibly reaching out to some other public office people. We're talking about maybe reaching out. Me and Chief Justice Freeman are talking about setting up a meeting with District Attorney McLaughlin to talk about MIP law. We're possibly looking into inviting members of City Council to sit in on some LSAB meetings. So if you all are interested in doing that, then please come talk to me and we will give you the details once we have them. We talked about food security, moving forward with the food security resolution that we presented a few weeks ago. Talking about reconstructing our contract with our current lobbyist for next year, not this year. Doing a little bit of brainstorming, talking about how we can collaborate with the Strayer Center with their Day at the Capitol program that they do, trying to see how we can target that discussion maybe to make it more effective for those students that do end up attending. That's about it. In personal terms, I'm still working on my case sealing fund project. We've hit a little bit of a roadblock in terms of how to get that funding into students' pockets, but I'll be setting up a meeting with Chief Justice Freeman to talk about options. We are exploring those and we're optimistic. So again, if anybody has anecdotes or if you're interested in the restorative justice process and you'd like to get involved with me on this, then please reach out to me and we can go from there. And with that, I yield.
All right. The other senator from the College of Liberal Arts. We will now move to the College of Natural Sciences. There's no senator for the College of Natural Sciences. College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences. The chair recognizes Senator Silverheart for 5 minutes.
Hello, everybody. Senator Silverheart coming back at you with another senator report. I use the pronouns he, him, his, and just a few things this week, kind of just continuations of projects I have been working on. Senator Tullis and I are working with President Dixon to improve the accommodation turnaround rate through the SDC. So if you are interested in working on that or have just any sort of input, please talk to either myself or Senator Tullis. We are meeting with the SDC next week to talk about kind of what is going on and possibly some solutions we can provide in order to improve that turnaround rate for students seeking accommodations. In terms of the minimum university pay bill that Senator Moshe and I are attempting to draft, I have a meeting with University Housing with Mary Strombohm, who was on the Senate floor a few weeks ago, if not a few months ago. My perception of time is very flawed. But I'm having a meeting with her and I think a few of the other members of the University Housing team to talk about the financial feasibility of asking for a $15 minimum university pay. So if you are interested in that or have questions, comments, concerns, please talk to me or Senator Moshe regarding that. It would be greatly appreciated as it is a bigger project that could use any sort of input. Business card bill, it's still on the way. I know I've been mentioning it quite a bit, but it is on the way. And then I also met with the Pride Center this previous week to ensure we are keeping all SCS offices in the loop. But now we have a senator to provide to be a direct advocate for the office. So I'm very happy to welcome Charlie back to ASCSU. And then also, this is kind of just something I've been thinking about. I know pre-COVID, CSU hosted a drag show. And I have come to learn that it was not put on by the Pride Center, but rather an individual student group. I am very interested in seeing this happen. If you are interested and have other students that may be interested, please reach out to me. If we could form another group, even just with the sole purpose of putting that on and possibly having some sort of financial help from ASCSU or a different office on campus, I think that would be a sign that we're moving in the right direction in terms of getting these big events back up and happening, because I know a lot of people were excited about the prospect of a drag show this year, including myself. And then another thing, kind of just want to throw this out there. I've had problems with this before, and I'm hearing other students have problems as well. But some of the issue with certain offices on campus not having a lot of student workers is students have to have work study for specific positions on campus. So if anybody's interested in looking into that more or have comments or personal experiences in which work study has limited one's ability to get specific positions on campus, I would love to hear more. It's just kind of something I'm interested in and possibly helping students have more access to student jobs on campus that they haven't previously had access to. But that's all for me. Thank you so much. I yield my time.
Okay, any other senator from the College of CDMDS? The chair recognizes Senator Mumford for 5 minutes.
Hey y'all, Jennifer here, pronouns she, her, hers. I've mostly been focusing on outreach and working on planning some presentations for the first year students in the College of CVMBS, just for like in the freshman seminar classes. So if you have any ideas about things that you think I should definitely include in those presentations, let me know. But yeah, I think that's all for me. I yield my time.
Okay. All right, with that, we will now move to the El Centro. Is there any member for El Centro wishing to speak on behalf of their constituency?
Tis I, Mr. Speaker.
The chair recognizes Senator Caracero for 5 minutes.
I can't see myself. Yay, nay, yes, no. Yeah. So I'm sorry I'm not in the chambers with y'all today. Well, actually, let me start. My name is Kimberly Caracito Perez. I use she, her, ella series pronouns, and I am one of the senators for Centro. And we have a couple little things happening. We have a wellness workshop. It's a Latina wellness workshop on relationships and boundaries and I'm reading this, it's wonderful. Wednesday, the 17th at 5:30 with Counselor Elise Carrera for a talk on boundaries with friends, partners, family, which is something that we see a lot in the Latino community, that boundaries don't exist. We also have Career Center drop-in hours every Thursday. I've been informed from 11 a.m. to 12. If you have any questions about that, actually one of our old professional staff members works there. She does a great job with that. So if you want to step in, you're welcome to. And that's all I have.
Okay, is there any other senators or senator from El Centro? Okay, seeing none. First Generation Collective Board. Okay, seeing none. Graduate Council. All right, seeing none. International Programs. Seeing none. Native American Cultural Center. Chair recognizes Chair Morgan for 5 minutes.
Hi y'all, me again, treasurer, she or hers. And I just want sorry, I can barely talk, sorry. but a part of our Native American Heritage Month events tomorrow at 6:30 at the Lyric, there will be a showing of and discussion of Homeroom School of Children of Carlisle, which if you don't know, Carlisle is one of the big boarding schools in America. Essentially, these boarding schools were meant to assimilate Native American children, so it's a pretty heavy topic. But I think it would be a good event if you want to educate yourself and also do, if you want to do your own research. And also a Q&A, so you can go there if you want to learn more. Also, if you want to learn more, you can kind of look up residential schools in Canada. Right now, if you don't know, some schools are being, I guess, basically bodies of children are being discovered, and it's in the thousands at this point. So just put that out there. This is a huge problem, and I'm glad that it's being brought up. That's all I have. I yield.
Chair recognizes Chair Ritter for 5 minutes.
Hi, y'all. It's Mia. So I wanted to make another announcement. Aside from that, I encourage y'all to go to that event tomorrow. It's a great film. Let's see what day is this? Oh, November 15th. So this is next week. ASCSU and North Star Career Mentors present Indian Taco Night. So Taco Night is happening next week, November 15th, 2021. Next year. This year. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Anyway, besides the point. November 15th next week, 5:30 p.m. at the I think it's the Atslin Community Center, I believe. Okay, I'm gonna go with that. I think it's the Atslin Community Center here in Fort Collins. It's an $8 a taco night. Drinks are provided. All proceeds go to CSU's American Indian Science and Engineering Society, ASCSU. So I encourage y'all to go to that. That'll be next week, November 15th. Yeah, we'll see y'all there.
Chair recognizes Chair Osterhout for 5 minutes. Just a reminder, when you're done speaking, please say I yield so we can continue. You're good.
I am. All right,
Sure.
thank you, Mr. Speaker. Hey, y'all. November, odd time to have Native Heritage Month, but it's a busy month for us. I also wanted to let y'all know this is not through CSU, but it's in Denver. There's a powwow November 26th to 28th in Denver. Y'all want to pull through to that? I can share the info. If you all do go, I'll be there. It'll be fun. And if you've never been to a powwow, this might be your time to go. Because I have a good feeling there's limited people who've been to powwows, and it's really a fun experience. There's food, vendors, dancing, singing, drummers. It's a fun time. And I'll leave it at that. There's a powwow. Think about it. I yield.
Okay, with that, we'll now move to Pride Resource Center. The chair recognizes Chair Williamson. The chair recognizes Senator Williamson for 5 minutes.
Hello, everybody. My name is Charlie Williamson. I use they, them pronouns. Piggybacking off of my friend for the College of Liberal Arts, it's Lysistrata, but you tried really hard. It's all good. It's a really fun production. I'm in it. So if you would like to see that, it's disco and feminism. So it's fun. But yeah, that's through the rest of this weekend. As far as the biggest thing we've got going on for the Pride Resource Center is this Thursday from 3 to 5 p.m. We're holding space just to be thankful, have some hot chocolate, make some leaves, write what you're thankful for, kind of decorate the center if you want to swing by for that. And then we've also got Transgender Awareness Week is November 13th through November 20th. So tons of events all week. We'll be working and collaborating with El Centro for a remembrance altar, as well as we've got a name change workshop, Pride at the Pool, Trans Meme Monday, my favorite, as well as Tuesday, November 16th, the city of Fort Collins is declaring that November is Transgender Acceptance Month. And then there's a mindfulness training for trans and non-binary students. Our Chai to Understand with APAC is on November 17th. Lunch with Latinx trans and non-binary leaders is also during this week. And then it kind of accumulates with our Trans Day of Remembrance and Resiliency ceremony. which is Thursday, November 18th at 5:30 in the LSC Theater. This is where we celebrate and remember the lives of those who've died from violence due to their trans and non-binary identities. We read the names aloud and leave moments for those who were not remembered in death as well. So swing by to any of those events. There's posters up in the SCPS offices if you like more details on that. Just as well, I'm happy to be here and happy to be a now point of contact for the Pride Center. So just reach out or let me know if you want to collaborate or work on anything. I'm here. Thanks. I yield my time.
Okay, with that, now move to Student Disability Center. Chair recognizes Chair AP for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Speaker Hill. Really quick, the last time I'm gonna be saying this, because it's Monday, November 15th is the last day to register for any exams through the SDC, so make sure that you get on that. Thanks, Ayo.
All right, with that, the chair recognizes any member from Walter Scott Jr. College of Engineering. Seeing none, we'll now move to the Warner College of Natural Sciences, Natural Resources. Chair recognizes, do you have a placard? Associate Senator Martin for 5 minutes.
Hey everyone, if you don't know me yet, I'm Elsa. I use she, her, hers. I just want to say we had an event last week. We brought in Maritza Arizaga. She is the Senior Environmental Director for the City of Fort Collins in their waste management. She did a speech, a little talk. It was very informative. So that went really well. And she is looking to get in touch with community members and talk about accessibility for recycling in Fort Collins and barriers to recycling in Fort Collins. So she's looking for community members, especially CSU students, to see what young generations have to say about recycling. If anyone is interested in meeting with her, I just met with her this morning. She's super nice. You'll get coffee on the city, which is great. And they could really use their feedback. They're working to meet some zero waste goals in the upcoming years, and they're just looking to see how they can do that more effectively. So if you're interested, talk to me afterwards. That's all. I yield.
All right, any other senator from the College of Natural Resources? All right, seeing none, we'll now move to Women and Gender Advocacy Center. Since there is none, I will now move to RHA liaison. Mr. recognizes, sorry, can you please, Senator, RH liaison Harkins for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Speaker. We just want to say that this is a really great opportunity. We're really thankful to be able to rebuild a connection with ASCSU. We're really thankful for this opportunity. So thank you. I yield my time.
All right, thank you. All right, I now recognize we're doing Speaker Pro Tempore reports. I recognize Chair, Speaker Pro Tempore Jenkins for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Yeah, Senator Laffey.
In light of the fact that members of the executive branch wish to speak, but we're not, I have a point of, it's not even a point, right? I was sorry, I move that we add, or rather we move executive reports to just after Senator and Associate Senator reports.
Okay, is there a second? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay.
Nay.
You guys have it. Please, will be acting from trying to make that change. Okay. The chair will recognize President Dixon for 10 minutes for executive reports.
Hello, y'all. It's good to see you. Apologies that we weren't here. Mary and I were on a call with the student athlete advisory committee when our reports came up. A good week, had great conversations with Spin. I know I've mentioned it before. You all are aware, scooters, bikes on campus. We are discussing a program. They're going to cut their week-long passes in half, the costs for finals week. So 50% off for all CSU students for finals week is the hope. We're waiting on the final green light from their CEO that they met with today. So we should get an update here shortly. If that does happen, we'll be marketing it pretty heavily of not needing to bring a car on campus and using that resource. We had, like I said, 9,000 activations, rides in 1 week from SPIN. And so I'm hoping it'll be a part of the long-term portfolio of transportation options. And I also recognize it's not the most accessible, and that's also why I think we should be equally resourcing Ram Ride Lift, Ram Ride, and transport as well, and some of the other solutions, in addition to ADA spots and things like that. So I think this is just a part of the larger conversation, but it is a critical component because so many students are using it and valuing it. And then hopefully in January, they'll stock every student's account with $10 to $15 of free usage. So you can ride $10 for free, and then hopefully we'll build a long-term strategy. What I would love to see is for a semester-long pass. Wouldn't that be incredible? So 1 semester, you can use it as much as you want. You don't have to bring a car on campus. That's our long-term hope, both from an environmental standpoint and convenience standpoint. I mentioned the accessibility conversation. Thank you again, Senator Silverhart. And Tulis, I don't think is here tonight, but really interested in that. And I think one example I'll provide with the library, they have their assistive technology rooms. They have five or six beautiful rooms on the main floor of the library, and they're not used very often, and very few students are aware of them, at least from what I've heard from library staff. And there's also a really rigorous process where they have to go through the Assistive Technology Resource Center, and then goes through the Student Disability Center. And I've heard from some disabled students that just don't want to go through that whole process just to use an assistive technology room that exists for them. And so I'm hoping to break down some of those roadblocks so that they can use it more easily. And it's a part of that conversation with the SDC. The Diversity House also doesn't have an ADA door. I don't know if you all know that. It came up in a meeting the other day, and I was a little caught off guard by that the Diversity House of all places doesn't have that. So if you all have interest, I think it's probably going to be $5,000 to $6,000. I'm hoping to have a bill to you all within 2 weeks is my goal. Once I get an estimate, and I'm working with the reconstruction services right now to get a final quote. I just feel like for many reasons that should be a top priority since it is the Diversity House for our campus. And then I'll mention it. I don't know if Senator Williamson mentioned, do you want to talk about the Clark bathrooms? Okay. So Jessica Kramer from facilities reached back out. I know that was sort of disheartening how the whole conversation ended, and it felt like there wasn't really any solution identified. She did reach back out and has identified a pathway to getting at least one in Clark. And we feel good about it, and we think it's feasible. And if you talk to myself or Senator Williamson, who's really been driving most of it, they can give you more information on that. Jessica can give more information. What would be a fair goal? I think maybe mid-spring is probably when we'd love to have it developed and finished. And I think that's feasible. So we'll need a lot of partnership conversations in terms of funding, and I'm suspecting the bill will come. I'm not suspecting, certain the bill will come to Senate, assuming those conversations continue. Voter registration, any of you all passionate about that? Actually, maybe a quick show of hands. If you are interested in voter registration, okay, come find me afterwards. You can get certified. The Latinx Community Network is driving a voter registration conversation year round, and they need folks who are experts on the process. And so that's a certification process you can go through, and then to be an advocate to yourself and all of your peers and everyone that you work with. So come find me afterward. And then the lobbyist as well. I know it's come up a number of times. That contract was signed in May of 2020. I wasn't updated on that, even though I was starting 10 days later. I wasn't aware that that was re-signed. I mean, it makes sense because that's how it's kind of always gone. But I want to change that, and I want to have some serious dialogue with you all before I approach that signature. And maybe, if not reforming that contract significantly, maybe terminating it entirely. And I'm of the mindset that I don't think that's disadvantageous for the lobbyist or our organization. At least that's how I feel about it right now. I probably will learn more as we go through, but I also know ASCSU is their smallest client. And so if it's not advantageous and we could use those funds in a different place, I think we should entertain that conversation. But I want to be deliberate about whatever choice I do make. And then Saturday, football game. How many of you all are going? Yes, there you go. We're going to beat Air Force, hopefully. And then we'll get to ring the bell. Appreciate you all, and come find me if you have any questions. I yield.
Okay. Is there any other member of the executive branch wishing to speak? Seeing none, we will now move to Speaker Pro Tempore reports. I will recognize Speaker Pro Tempore Jenkins for 10 minutes.
Hi, everybody. Sorry for my absence. My other job has a regional leadership conference, and I was a swap to our neighboring regions one last week, and pre-conference meetings have been yay. Anyway, that's why I've been absent. Catching you all up, anti-peeping windows. It's been hard for Carolyn Bell and I to find a time to sit down and talk about this initiative together. Hopefully, we will be able to relatively soon. For those of you who were not in the space and are not aware of what I'm trying to do, there have been an alarming number of notifications gone out to CSU's students about peeping toms on campus, and that's not fun or good for anybody. So trying to get one-way mirrors installed as windows in the first floors of residence halls and on-campus apartments, so the incidences of those go down drastically and people can actually feel safe in the residence halls and apartments. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to talk about that relatively soon. And I don't know if Deputy Chief Justice Boyanko talked about this, but please fill out the RAM recognition cards, y'all. We are the lowest participating branch in Senate or in ASCSU with a whopping 54% participation. Yay! Let's get those numbers up. If somebody does something that you really appreciate or something that's like, wow, that's really, really cool, write it down. Y'all can find those cards up by the front desk, I believe. And there's a lot here to be appreciative about and to show people recognition for. These are all volunteer positions, and sometimes we go really late in the night, so that's worthy of recognition in and of itself. I mean, we have a new member, or we have 2 new members today. That's amazing. They took this on. That's great. And formal recognition for you too. Anyway, give people recognition. It's really fun. And it encourages people to do more and stay a part of this organization, which we absolutely love to see. Thirdly, and lastly, next week will potentially be my last week as Speaker Pro Tempore. Now, do not fear. I applied for and was selected to be the elections manager. So ratification is pending for next week. If I'm ratified next week, that will be my last Senate meeting as Speaker Pro Tempore. Now, don't be sad because I'm still going to be around. I'll still be in the office. Y'all can still say, hey, I'd like to talk with me about the things that you want to talk about. More of this is to say, if you know somebody who'd be a good Speaker Pro Tempore, or if you are interested in being the Speaker Pro Tempore, consider running. Hopefully the election will take place next Wednesday. And if you have anybody in mind, or anybody, or if you would like to run, please come talk to me about what all of this position entails and how you can succeed. Whoever does win, I want to do more of a formal transition process. You will have a transition report, and I want to walk you through all of the resources that I've created and all the fun things that I have to help y'all succeed, or how to help my successor succeed in this position, so Senate isn't left with just nobody. And I do believe that concludes my reports. I will go back to my pre-conference meeting. Again, if y'all have any questions or Senate leadership needs anything, please text me and I will come in and help however I can. With that, I bid y'all adieu.
All right, with that, we'll now begin our confidence business. Will the acting parliamentarian please put 2 hours on the confidence clock? All right. We will now begin with our first piece of new business, our first piece of legislation, Bill number 5105, Plaque Bill. The acting parliamentarian read the abstract in full, please.
I've already removed the pencil.
Oh, I didn't remove the Plaque Bill, my apologies. Well, then we'll go to resolution 5107, recorded lectures. Will the authors please come up? Will the acting parliamentarian please read the abstract in full?
It's loading. Give me a moment.
Okay.
Resolution 5107, recorded lectures for classroom comprehension. Abstract. This resolution aims to improve student comprehension and interpretation of classroom learning by introducing mandatory recorded lectures by professors and teaching assistants covering the course material. This serves as a preliminary to support recorded lectures before a committee to revise the necessary technological systems and confidentiality for each department campus-wide.
Okay, with that, the chair will recognize the author, Senator Baum, for 10 minutes.
Hey, y'all. For those who don't know me, my name is Brendan Baum, Senator of College of Business. I use the he series of pronouns. I'm presenting a resolution to make recorded lectures a staple resource for here at CSU. During the pandemic, even though it was a struggle for everyone here, the usage of the recorded lectures for students to quickly reference from course material has become a university-wide favorite to the majority of the student body. This resolution just serves to show the administration and the faculty alike that students would like some format of recorded lectures to be presented on the school's official student portal, i.e. Canvas. The usage of such a resource, which should be mutually beneficial for all parties without damaging the academic prowess of CSU. All students will have an additional resources to reference from. Professors will have more engaged students, and administration can showcase students' grades for national recognition. With that being said, Mr. Speaker, I now am ready for Q&A.
Okay, thank you. I will now open 10 minutes of Q&A, starting with the first placard. Chair recognizes Chair Morgan for 5 minutes.
Hi, I just have a quick question. Could you provide a source for like where you found the definition by the U.S. Department of Education for that whole clause about underserved groups?
Yes, so the underserved groups was by the definition, I believe is in the sources. Can the parliamentarian please scroll down all the way at the bottom? So it was by a, it was actually by a source by the AAUP, which uses the Department of Education. Thus, if you look at them, they have the sources at the very back. I also went to every single student diversity office just to clarify, because I did believe that the Department of Education had a very umbrella term. So I went there in person with legislation in hand to ask for Senate input and people's inputs at every single student diversity office to make sure that this does include everybody. And I did try to avoid using such language as much as possible, but eventually going through my resources, it just happened. So does that answer your question?
Yes, but could you do like an edit to kind of like in-text IT? Because that's the only one that doesn't have like a in-text citation, so. Just to clarify.
Can you scroll over real quick? Okay. Yeah, I do recognize now that. So I'll use my author powers to put a subnote 7, please, over.
The acting parliamentarian, please make that change.
7, like subnote, whatever it's called.
I don't know how to do that. I think it's like a, let's do that for now.
Okay, that's all. I yield.
Senator Shepherd, the chair recognizes you for 5 minutes.
Just a quick clarifying question. I read through this when it was on the agenda for last week, but forgive me if I forgot if this is included, but I just wanted to clarify. Are you proposing a different solution than, I know Canvas already offers the Echo 360 recordings. Is this going to be a different kind of system than that, where it's like more personal, or could you elaborate a little bit more on what the alternate is going to look like?
Yeah, sure. So no, this is actually not an alternative. It's to use the Echo 360 as the tool and software for teachers and teaching assistants to use, so then they can have the recorded lectures be posted on Canvas.
Got it. That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
Okay, the chair recognizes Senator Python for 5 minutes.
First of all, thank you. This needs to be done. But quick question, how do we prevent teachers from using these recorded lectures over and over and over every year and really kind of missing out on that kind of portion of class?
That is a very good point. Thank you so much for bringing that up. It might be something that I personally have missed. But once you look at can you please scroll down this parliamentarian 8th? It's all the way therefore to the. Keep going. That one. Okay. So if I do want this to be going to committee for revision, that would, with that input, I would definitely love to hear about that. I can see where as a concern where we might have a video from the 1990s that doesn't really reflect to stuff material back here in 2021. So that might be a good clarification. I thank you for that, and I would love to hear that in committee.
Associate Senator, you said your name again, sorry. Martin, to recognize you for 5 minutes.
Hi, sorry, quick question, and I apologize. I was, had some issues with the email list, so I didn't just get this until about an hour ago, so I haven't had a chance to read through it in full. But one clarifying question, would it be an instance where, I guess, would you define the difference between, say, the class being recorded in person while the other students are there? Or would it be something pre-recorded by the professor?
So in the resolution, I gave a lot of feedback and power to the teachers and teaching assistants and the kind of process they want to do this. They can choose to have recorded lectures. They can choose to have previous recorded lectures be presented for current course material. Now, again, what Senator Python has brought up, using recycled material over and over again can eventually dilute the learning of this thing. But I have given them a list of like different suggestions they can do in order to provide such a thing.
Follow up to that, would you not agree that if, let's say, a professor chose to record their in-class teachings to other students, they could disincentivize students in the class to speak if they know they're being recorded?
Yeah, there was certain concerns about that brought up. I have put into the resolution due to have concerns that this recorded lectures should be mandated by the student code of conduct to ensure that the recorded lectures are being used for academic purposes only. And with that also, I gave the power to the teachers to kind of pause the recording anytime and whenever a student feels uncomfortable whenever they're being spoken to. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
This is a quick point of clarification, so Daniel, for your list, but most classes are already recorded. They just have to fill out something to get access to it, but every single class I am in is already recorded. Just so everyone knows. That was a clarification.
You yield.
Yeah.
The speaker.
Yes, I yield. Thank you.
Okay. Chair Ritter, to recognize you for 5 minutes.
Point of order for you.
For what purposes? May state your point of order.
We only have 3 minutes left on Q and Q&A.
Thank you.
Motion to extend to 10 more minutes.
Motion has been made to extend for 10 more minutes. Is there a second for that? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Acting parliamentarian, please extend 10 minutes. The ayes have it. Okay, the Chair Ritter, the chair recognizes you for 5 minutes.
Cool. So, this is just to clarify, this bill is to basically require all classes to record all their lectures, record their lectures in classrooms all on campus.
Yeah, that's the general idea, is to have at least all core lectures to be recorded eventually. Now, all my courses are being recorded, unfortunately, and I understand at least my personal history back in scientific majors. I would love to record lectures so I can understand the content a little bit more. So, yes.
And then also, just for clarification for everyone else too, not everyone's classes do get recorded. Most of my classes personally aren't recorded. It's just one of my classes out of my 6 classes that are recorded, which it is very inconvenient because, you know, there's some days where I'm so tired to go to class, but I have to go just because, you know, I'm very tired, but I have to go because if I miss out grades, go back. Anyways, and then another, what's my other question? Clarification about that. Oh, and then also something that someone had brought up as well was, dang it, I feel like I'm trying to play again. I'm so tired. Anyways, I think it was To ensure professors that they weren't repeating the lectures. And because something I have had a personal problem in the past is I've had a professor that used lecture material that she had used for years and years and years and not updating the quizzes. And so maybe she had updated the lectures, but not the quizzes, and using the same quizzes over and over again and testing us on things that we didn't learn because they didn't use the correct lecture material. So I was just wondering if you would be willing to, kind of see if there's someone who would oversee all of these recorded lectures to see if these professors are being, I don't know, I guess monitored or watched or asked, how are you keeping these courses, correct? Or like maybe if there's like surveys students would take and it would be forwarded to someone that is their supervisor, or maybe it's I don't know, just to kind of have just to kind of double check to make sure that they were doing their work correctly, or giving the correct material and resources to the students and not just kind of throwing work at them.
Yeah, so basically just keep the course material as consistent as possible with recorded lectures. I completely understand that. I did try putting a part in the resolution to basically make sure that the recorded lectures do not intentionally deceive, manipulate, or mislead students down the wrong path. I do understand that if you want supervision, I'm very open to that as well. University Technology Fee Advisory Board were really open on that, but they do more of the end of like make sure that Echo 360 and software works correctly. I am trying to make contact with the Dean and Provost office to make sure that the highest echelon of those departments are aware of such a deal. And then, yeah, I'll be very open to that.
Thank you so much. That's all my questions. I yield.
Okay, Senator Sherwood, your 5 minutes.
I had a point of clarification, but Chair Ritter already said it, so thank you.
Senator Carter-Settle, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Hi, so I had a question that I don't know if it necessarily applies. So me personally, I am a student that uses a post 9/11 GI Bill, and we get paid different or we get charged different depending on if our classes are distance, which would just mean that they're online, or if they're in person. Would this change the status of those classes? And I know that that just doesn't affect students that use like a post 9/11 GI Bill, but that it also affects out-of-state students and international students. So I just had a question if that would change essentially the course. Like what would the course look like on RamWeb, like to say?
Just for a point of clarification for myself, are you talking about the billing process or are you talking about the course in general? Like if this will change the course?
If this will change the course, but if like, I guess I kind of worded that weird because then it would be implemented in all courses. So either question that you feel comfortable answering.
So I don't have any intentions to change the course itself. If the teacher, teaching assistants, they control the syllabus, they control how the course will be laid out. Now, the recorded lectures is there just to support you during the entire academic semester. And hopefully with this, students will be more engaged and will have better grades as a whole. CSU can showcase that, to showcase that we have the smartest people here in the entire world. And yes, we do. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it did. I yield my time.
Okay, with that, Chair Morgan, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Okay, so hi, me again. So I know in your kind of like a therefore be hereby further resolved, you kind of say like the professors will provide the recordings. But I guess I'm wondering, like, could you possibly kind of add like adding in something about how they have to be accessible? Because I mean, professors could record them, but then they'd be like, oh, you need an excuse absence in order to view it. So would you be willing to like maybe like clarify wording, for them to be accessible?
What do you mean by accessible? You mean like as in the teacher or as in like the recorded lectures? I'm sorry, I'm a little confused.
Just the recording, like, because the professor could just record them, but it won't be on Canvas, so like you have to maybe have to email the professor in order to do that, so.
Yeah, so the resolution is trying to make the professor obviously put it on Canvas. People are human though. We do make mistakes. And several times I had to email my teachers just to put up the slides. So hopefully with this resolution, like you said, if you want further better wording, clarification, again, this will go through committee. Please, I would love to hear your inputs. And to make sure that the teacher does actually post this like slides as another resource. I hope that answers your question, does it?
Sort of, but yeah, we could do it in committee. Thank you. Hey, yo.
Senator Mumford, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
All right, hey there. So just a quick question for you. Would the recordings as outlined in the resolution require the inclusion of closed captions or transcripts? I know for me, at least, whenever I'm trying to view the recordings of classes, it's really helpful to see the text of what's being said, not just the audio.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I put it into a whereas clause where this should help students with disabilities, recognized or unrecognized disabilities. Closed captions, I believe, is a mandatory thing into the Echo 360 and the software being used. So I believe that no matter what recordings the captions will be provided. Some of my classes uses Teams as recordings and then they provide closed captions. But yes, that is a good point of concern in order to bring up into the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. I yield my time.
Okay. Senator Anthony, Chair recognizes you for 5 minutes.
Point of order.
Restate your point of order.
Okay, we now only have 4 minutes and 36 seconds left in Q&A. We can only extend one more time.
For all purposes, do you see recognition?
I move to extend the time Q&A by 4 minutes.
A motion has been made to extend Q&A by 4 minutes. Is it seconded?
Can I motion to amend that if the original author accepts? Can I motion to exhaust speakers list instead?
A motion has been made to, do you accept that amendment? No, okay, we're going to vote on Senator Laffey's motion first.
Motion to amend the motion just made. Can we extend it by 20 minutes?
Okay, hold on.
We still need to get seconded.
Okay, was that seconded? Okay, is this first one to extend 4 minutes seconded?
Seconded.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
No, they're not passing it yet. Passing it is finishing.
Okay.
So now it's Alex's turn. Now that we have a second.
All right, now it's Senator Silverheart and we go.
I would like to amend the motion and extend it by 20 minutes instead of 4 minutes.
That will take a 2/3 to amend a motion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Is it seconded? Sorry.
Second.
Seconded.
Okay, all in favor now you can say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay.
Nay.
You guys have it?
No, it's passing.
Please state, please add comments.
We have to pass the motion. We just amended the motion and we have to pass the motion. So you have to vote on the motion. We passed the amendment.
Okay. Sorry, I'm a little confused here. We passed the amendment. Now we got to vote on that motion to extend the 20 minutes.
All in favor.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Okay, you guys have it by 2/3. Please add 20 minutes. Thank you. Okay, we have Senator Anthony, Chair recognizes you for 5 minutes.
Thanks, Mr. Speaker. I just have a point of clarification for everyone, and please correct me if I'm wrong. I think going back to Senator Caraceto's question, in theory, this shouldn't change the way that the class appears on like RamWeb or Canvas in a structural way. Each class should be quote unquote in person. This is just merely adding a hybrid tool to the class that will aid students further in learning and development in the class, not really classifying it as an online class, so to speak, because the structure for that just looks a little bit different. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Unless I'm incorrect in my understanding of that, it shouldn't change anything on on a like campus level, it shouldn't change the structure of how the class is registered as far as like in person to hybrid to online. And with that, I yield.
Yes, Senator Anthony, that's correct. Thank you so much for clarifying that for me.
Okay, those, Senator Silverheart, to recognize you for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Speaker Hill. I have a few questions. You said this is encompassing all classes, correct?
Correct.
Does this include labs?
So at the, let's scroll down one more. So that depends on the teacher, whether, or the teaching assistant, whether they want to include recorded lectures on that. This resolution has recognized that certain activities of academic activities cannot be recorded. Most notably is quizzes, exams, outside lectures, even the physical activity. I took a dance class back, and that would have been hard recording. So, and that also applies to labs. Whether the teacher believes so or not, most labs that I know of offer participation points, and they require you to actually attend, depending on sickness and tardiness. So this recognizes that labs may be a academic activity that does not require recorded lectures. Does that answer your question?
Sort of. So then if there's this large amount of space for professor discretion, how does this change from the situation we are in now where it still is up to professor discretion?
This is just to, so certain professors actually pushed back on this resolution solely because they believe that recorded lectures may be a form of academic misconduct, etc., and had to disclose such objections in the and I tried writing that as best as possible in the resolution. Yes, there are some teachers here that have discretionary to do so, but recorded lectures applies to lectures that is being like orally recited to the students. So aka in the lecture halls or during online classes or hybrids. Does that make sense? If you scroll at the top of the resolution, there will be definitions for both.
It does make sense, yes. A few other questions kind of along that same line. I've had classes where professors are not even comfortable with students like recording the lectures on their own, using their own personal devices. And I feel like that is kind of under the context that teaching in a way is an art form, and the students are paying for this class for that semester, not to have these lectures recorded and possibly shared with other individuals not paying for the class. How would you respond to a professor approaching this resolution or approaching this kind of, whether it be a requirement or recommendation from the university or from us?
That's a good question. So with, again, the recorded lectures will be subject to student code of conduct. Now, the code of conduct protects students from harassment and misusage of academic resources, and that does mean displaying the resources on websites like Course Hero and even YouTube, and being formally public to the audience. So that would that's where teachers will be protected by the academic integrity office and the student code of conduct offices. Does that answer your question? I hope.
It does, yes. Do you know if Echo 360 is available in all classrooms on campus?
As of right now, no. From remembering, I believe it was 193 classes as of right now have Echo 360. They do plan to expand about 64 more Echo 360 for the upcoming semester. And they also plan to expand more into further classes.
So if this resolution were to pass, will the classrooms that do not contain Echo 360, would professors or the university be responsible for providing that equipment?
The university. So in the, one of the therefore clause was to ask the university to allocate resources and monies to those classrooms to have Echo 360 or any other sort of software and hardware to be installed. Does that answer your question?
It does, yes. My apologies for not being 100% familiar with the resolution, but I appreciate your reiteration. My last question is a little different, but being an RA, I've seen a multitude of different students who tend to have different tendencies when it comes to attending classes.
10 seconds.
Never mind, I yield my time.
Okay, with that, Senator Hyman, the chair recognizes you for 5 minutes.
One last thing, and it just kind of piggybacks right on what Senator Silverheart said. Can we put in a time frame in which all the rooms would need to be outfitted by?
Yes, the last therefore clause have said that those classrooms that do have such recorded capabilities should try to implement such next semester. And that'll be a good idea, having probably in my personal opinion, a time frame of about 2 years maybe for the university to allocate monies and resources to all classrooms might be beneficial. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thanks for doing that.
Do you yield? All right. Is there any other senator or associate senator wishing to be on the primary speakers list? Senator Deason, the chair recognizes you for 5 minutes.
I yield to Senator Silverheart.
Okay, Senator Silverheart, you've been yielded to.
Thank you, Senator Deason. Once again, it's still a very difficult question to ask, but what are your thoughts on students possibly taking advantage of this to not attend classes and just use lectures to kind of get by? And the reason I bring this up is because I am an RA and I understand the transition into college can be extremely difficult on an academic level, social level. Many different facets of university life is very difficult. And I feel like for a lot of students getting in that groove and in a way being somewhat forced into that groove of attending classes in person and such, and not having another option like recorded lectures online, encourages them to go out and develop that physical schedule and have those social interactions. So this is more of like a social based question, and to also put in the minds of other senators. I feel like this is an important thing to consider, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this.
Thank you, Senator Silverheart. I'm actually very curious to hear more of your personal experience, because I believe that with your expertise and your personal background, this will drive this resolution even further. Yes, so that's why there was so much teacher discretion involved, so then it can encourage students to attend class, if so, and also gives students also the flexibility, choice, etc., to not attend class due to tardiness, legal issues, etc. So that's most of my classes do offer some sort of participation points in some way. That's one way teachers do offer ways to incentivize students to come to class. So with your personal input, though, I would love to hear in any way, shape, or form in committee where we can make changes so it can better fit the social aspects of CSU.
I appreciate it, and I yield my time.
You still have time left, Senator Deason. Do you wish to yield or reclaim your time?
Sorry. Yeah, Senator Silver asked my question, so I yield my time. Thank you.
Okay. Is there any other senators who sit on the primary speakers list wishing to speak who has not spoken yet? All right, seeing none, we'll now open the secondary speakers list, which means you can re-ask the question of even if you have already spoken before. Chair Ritter, the chair recognizes you for 3 minutes.
Hi, all, Mia here. Might I remind everyone, again, if no one remembers, we are still in a pandemic. So,
just so you know, this is only for Q&A, not for discussion debate.
oh, okay, but,
If you, unless you have a question, you're gonna have to yield.
No, I've got questions. But I will yield to Trembling. Just kidding.
Okay. All right,
I yield my time.
with that, we will now, Senator Anthony, to recognize you for 3 minutes.
Speaker, just got a quick question for you. Do you know who you want to task university for the funding for? You know where your anticipation for that money to come from is?
It's a good question. Me personally, no, do not know what is the university's budget, unfortunately. That's why I wanted this to be exposed to as many departments as possible, all academic departments, the administration, etc., to see where this fund will be allocated. I understand this, so there's different partnerships in terms of like the administration as a whole and then different departments here. So it's very, even I was very confused on where such money and everything is allocated. So that's probably one reason why we haven't renovated Clark. So.
Sorry, I just wanted to, I was just curious if you had any idea like who you were thinking of like directing it to, like if there was any like department agency that you think might need to stretch the budget for to make that fit. So I was just curious. So thank you.
Just to clarify on that too.
He is yielded before we finish that line of questions. Okay. Next, is there any other Senator Associate Senator wishing to speak? All right, seeing none, I will now end the Q&A. I will be sending this to University Affairs Committee. All right, next piece of legislation. We have resolution number 5108, separating food from housing over CSU breaks. Will the author please come present? Will the acting parliamentarian read abstract in full?
Resolution 5108, separating food from housing over CSU breaks. Abstract. This resolution asserts that students should have more discretion regarding their food choices and how they spend the $20 that they are being forced to transfer into Ramcash from opting into break housing. Students should be able to decide in what form they want to use these $20, what food they want, and where they wish to use it. Having discretion over food costs shall allow students to find living on campus during fall, winter, and spring breaks more affordable.
Okay, the chair recognizes the authors for 10 minutes. And that's to go.
Alrighty, hi y'all. My name is Ritik Correa. I also go by Rick. Feel free to use anything you want. So real quick, I'll give you the reasoning behind this resolution. So it's to make sure that students living on campus during the breaks are more affordable. So let me give you a quick overview of how housing works on campus. So it's only during the times when classes are available that students get to live on campus. Oops. The students get to live on campus, and whenever classes are not in session, they have to leave until and unless they pay extra to live on campus, even if it's in their own room. And as of now, it's $20 in rent per day and $20 that go to Ramcash. So it totals up to about $40, it totals up to $40 a day, which in my perspective is not affordable to a lot of students. And the goal behind this resolution is to separate the charges between rent and the money that goes to Ramcash. Me and the authors want the students to have a certain degree of power on their own spending. I do not want students to have to pay the $20 that goes to Ramcash. Instead, I want them to have more discretion if they want to choose to go off campus, because we all know that off campus, if you buy your own groceries, it's much more cheaper. So our goal here is to make it more affordable and hopefully increase student housing during the breaks. This affects a lot of international students. It affects a lot of students with marginalized identities, students that for whatever reason cannot go home. And so this over here is just a small resolution. It is a small part in a bigger goal. And I'm open to question Q&A unless, yeah.
So the reason why it's $20 is because it costs $9.5 a meal in the dining halls that are open during the breaks. Students have to pay, currently students have to pay this $9.5 per meal and the dining hall through Ramcash. However, if they can pay it through their credit cards, the consequence would be the same. They would have all you can eat dinner or lunch every day, right? And also have this discretion to buy groceries off campus. And yeah,
we open to Q&A.
All right, presentation has commenced or has concluded. The chair will now open to 10 minutes of Q&A, starting with placards up after I announce Chair Ritter. The chair recommends you for 5 minutes.
Hi all, yeah. So that is true that, people could use their credit cards and use other forms of payment for these things, but have you thought about that not all students have debit cards, credit cards, or these kind of cards to purchase these things? So that's why that form of RAM cash on a debit card is very accessible. Otherwise, it would not be very accessible to students to use. But that's my first question.
To answer that, students can also use cash. Those students that don't have debit cards and credit cards can use cash in the dining halls to get a meal. No?
Okay, I could answer that question. So the goal here is to make sure that housing and dining doesn't force students to put the $20 towards RAM cash. They can if they choose to, but I don't want them to be forced to put the $20 towards RAM cash. The goal here is to ensure that they can use that money, hopefully lesser than $20 a day, to buy groceries for themselves if they choose. And if they choose to eat at a dining hall, if they choose to put the $20 towards RAM cash, they may do so.
And for students that are in such positions, well, there are many not vending machines, but there are these RAM cash machines on campus where you can like transfer cash and also deposit RAM cash in your RAM card. So that way students have that discretion because then they can pay through their RAM cards and also get a meal swipe, get a meal in the dining hall, but they don't necessarily have to pay for every single day that they're living in. So let's say for day one, I want to get a meal from the dining hall. I can transfer my cash that I use to buy my stuff into the RAM card. And the next day, that's like $9.5, right? And so I use that $9.5 in my RAM card for the swipe. In the evening, I can use $4 of my cash in Walmart. So I believe that this will give them more discretion and autonomy towards how they use their money. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. So are you trying to make this optional, or are you trying to enforce like taking out having all that RAM cash together?
Yes, so we are trying to make it optional. So if I wanted to put $20 towards RAM cash, if a student wanted to put, they could. If they didn't want, then it's up to them. So the goal is just to make it optional. And right now it's mandatory. So
awesome. I know my time.
All right. Chair recognizes Senator Deason for 5 minutes.
I yield to redundancy.
All right. The chair recognizes Senator Truck for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Speaker. So I have a couple questions, just because I don't really entirely know how the process works, even with the current day stuff. So forgive me if I say something and it's like, no, that's wrong. So for the $40 currently, is that every day, like a daily rent, or is that like for the entire break period?
I wish it was for the entire break period, but no, it's just for one day.
Okay, perfect. And then, so how do you plan on having students making that decision for the daily plan? Is that going to be something through like RamWeb? Is that something that hasn't necessarily been fully figured out quite yet? What's kind of that goal for student accessibility?
The dining halls function pretty much like any other restaurant. So if a student chooses on that particular day that they want to eat, they can go and purchase a meal at the door, which is going to be, it's going to be $9.5 as per what we've spoken to Mary Strombaum. She said it's going to be $9.5 over this particular break. So if they choose to, they can go and purchase it at the door and eat. Right now, it's mandatory that they have to put the $20, even if they don't want to eat there. So if they want to go and eat off campus, they still have to put $20 that goes towards RAM cash.
Okay, so just to make sure I understand if they don't like go to the dining halls at all at that point, then it's $20 for that day. And then if they decide, let's say on a Wednesday that they do go for dining halls, then it would be the 40 for that day. Is that correct? It'd be on based off of a daily thing, or is this something that they have to decide beforehand?
Can you rephrase the question?
Yeah, of course. So In terms of how students are making this decision, is this something that they have to plan beforehand, or is it just a base, if they decide to do this, it's a base $20, and then if they decide to go to the dining hall, then the $40 gets added on?
Yeah, so I'll give you an example to answer your question. Let's say I'm living on campus during the fall break and I paid base $20. I paid base $20 to stay on campus. I can choose whether I want to put $20 of RAM cash later on, but I need to have that power, right? The student needs to have that power. So the student can put the $20 of RAM cash if he wishes to, should be able to put that $20 in RAM cash if they wish to through the online portals that are present on my RAM card and the machines that we talked about at CSU. Or they can choose to like just pay $20 as a whole for every single day that they're staying. We just want to give them that option, you know, of not having to put $20 every single day. Did I answer your question?
Yes, that answers
Okay,
it
I'm happy.
perfectly. Thank you guys for pushing this bill. I'm excited to see it in committee. With that, I yield my time.
Chair Welch, Chair recognizes you for 5 minutes.
Point of order.
You may say your point of order. 4 minutes, we have 4 minutes, 4 seconds.
Motion to extend Q&A by 20 minutes.
A motion has been made to extend Q&A by 20 minutes. Is it seconded?
Seconded.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. You guys have it. Acting parliamentarian, please add 20 minutes to this Q&A. Chair Welch, the chair recognizes you for 5 minutes.
All right, so my first question is, when the students have to pay the $40, is that a decision that's like made a few weeks in advance, or like, can you do like the day before?
So I'm going to say this from my past experience when I was a freshman. So we all know that the billing date is the 10th of the next month. So if I'm billed right now for it, I'll have to pay it by the 10th of next month. So let's say, when's the fall break? Okay, the fall break's 2 weeks from now. So I'm assuming they would have to pay that on or before the 10th of December.
Okay, then so that brings up my one concern is, so the dining hall is a business and they need to hire workers. And if a student opts out or opts in all the time, they don't actually know how many people are gonna go to the dining halls. So they won't know exactly how much stuff they need to make. So like, is there a good way to make sure that the dining hall knows exactly how many people will be there and they will be able to like know that in advance, like a week or two?
Yes, as I said, the dining halls do work as normal restaurants. So it's a problem that pretty much every restaurant faces in figuring out how many people are going to show up, how many are not going to show up. Given the costs, so the classifieds, obviously there are contracts over there. So it's a sunk cost. They don't have to put any extra amount to have the classifieds over there. All the costs that are associated are going to be mostly food, electricity, and water. They would have a good idea of there are usually like 500 students that live on campus, and I'm assuming that a lot of them would choose not to forcefully go there. So they would definitely have to reduce the number. I don't know an exact estimate on how many students would or would not, but that's up to them, their discussion if they want to like have any means or a Grubhub order system, something like that in which they can choose if they want to find out how many students are going to show up. But as of now, I don't have any concrete stuff on that.
Yeah, I do. I can answer your question. So students are supposed to fill in an application to stay on campus for the fall and spring break. I think 3 weeks prior to when the break commences. And so once the application deadline is ended, housing and dining will have a rough idea of how many students are staying on campus. And they will be able to choose, they'll be able to predict whether students are attending, whether students will go to the dining halls or not.
Yep, I just didn't know, like, that's big answer 9 or 2 weeks, yeah, that's plenty of time for them all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can work it. So yeah, thank you for answering the
Yeah.
question, I yield my time.
I'm happy we could answer your question.
The chair recognizes Senator Sher for 5 minutes.
I was wondering, you said that meal swipes are worth $9.50. This may just be because I'm not aware, but currently is my understanding that meal swipes are worth $8. Is it different over break?
So yeah, the information we were given after we met with the executive director of housing and dining, Maris Trumbull, is that it will cost $9.5 per swipe per meal, not swipe, but per meal during the breaks.
Were y'all given an explanation on why it's gonna cost more?
No, we did not ask that because we weren't aware that it costed $8 when we were told this, but we'll definitely raise this question in our meeting on Monday. Thank you.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Also, when are you hoping to get this all through since fall break is in a couple weeks?
So we were hoping that this fall break will be different and better. Let me bring some background and some context. Prior to our meetings this semester, housing and dining was just going to keep Ramshorn Express or Durrell Express open. And that's how it has been historically for a few years, at least since I personally have been a freshman. After our meeting, we were able to convince housing and dining to have a dining hall open. And that's one progress that we've made. We were hoping that through meetings and through discussions with authorities concerned, the pricing will go down on its own, but that wasn't the case. And that's why we're passing a resolution. So this fall break, we don't expect the prices to go down or students to have more discretion over their money. It's because they've already signed in their applications and perhaps they've already been billed. But we want to make sure that from next semester's break, spring break, and subsequent breaks, this is not the case.
Also, I wanted to ask if you were aware of, I'm not sure if it's really a thing or if it's things that I've heard as an RA, but it is my understanding that come graduation, you can pay a small fee to get whatever's left of your rent cash back. Are you aware of that actually being a real thing?
So yes, that is a real thing. I believe it's $25 to get a cash back. But the other goal is to think about it from a freshman standpoint of view, particularly someone with a marginalized identity, someone that can't go home, someone that doesn't have a really good financial background. If they knew that they had to pay like $200 on or before the 10th of December, would they choose to use extra money to go and get food off campus, even though it's cheaper, because they still have to pay this money by December 10th. So for this usually, technically does concern freshmen. So they're going to like get this money back 4 years from now. So that there's no point, like 4 years from now, it's pretty much worthless.
Yeah, and I totally understand that, but I just thought that maybe that would be a good thing to like push out for at least this break to let people know.
Also, I would like to say one more thing on the $8 stuff. So no, it's not $8. It's actually way more than $8, but they let you buy stuff from the Express that's only worth $8, but it's actually more than $8. And if you have a lower meal plan, then it's like $12, $13, stuff like that.
Coming to your suggestion, we will definitely bring this up on Monday. And just to add some more information, we have talked to, because of our meetings with the Housing and Dining Executive Director, we've been able to formalize the process where students that are
Senator Sherrod has 1 minute.
that are in need of financial support have hopefully, not definitely, have an endowment fund. So a retention, a housing retention fund that can support them, but it's still not feasible. So that's why we're going for full discretion over your money.
That's great. Thank you.
Okay, to recognize Senator Silverheart for 5 minutes.
Point of clarification or information, you said there's 1 minute left on the speaking time.
Oh, no, that was for Senator Sherrod.
Okay, my apologies. Yes, I have a few questions. To clarify, you said it costs $25 total to get your RAM cash back.
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so if that is the case and the student were to stay on campus.
Point of clarification on that. I believe if you pay the $25, you're terminating that CSU ID of that card.
Yes.
That is that you are leaving the university and ending the account for that card. If you do that your freshman year, you have to get a new card and a new ID. That is not a like do once every semester. This is a graduate a graduation thing of terminating the account, and most students have less than $25 on the account by that point. So it is not a once a year thing. That's all I can say.
Thank you for that piece of clarification. But if a student were to stay 30 days for break housing, pay it, and get $600 therefore in RAM cash, they would have to pay $25 to get that back. That $575.
Then the fee is $100, from what I'm aware. Yeah, it's not $25 then. And students most likely will not be staying for 30 days. Most,
I think it's
So,
for the winter
in
break,
a-
the spikes are the charge the first one. It's different for the winter break, it's different for the.
yeah,
fall
but
and
we are talking about the fall break, right? So, yeah, students definitely will have more money that way in their RAM cash, but they can't use it during the fall break or the spring break. The way they would potentially be able to use it if it was in the form of cash. Because that $600 is anyway coming out of their pocket. If it can stay in their pocket and go elsewhere, it's more beneficial for the students. So, yeah, I just hope that it answers your question.
It does. With this resolution, would students be able to decide each day whether they want to pay the $40, or is that a decision they make ahead of time where they're saying, I want to pay $20 a day and not get any RAM cash once they're signing up for fall or for break housing?
So the goal is for students to be able to decide, I don't want to pay $20 in RAM cash while I stay on campus. Far before, while they're basically applying for the fall break. Yeah. So that housing and dining also has an idea of who holds RAM cash in their in the RAM card for the fall break and who does not. So that'll also help the dining halls in assessing how many customers they will get. For sure.
Also, one more thing, if you like really want to put RAM cash like that very day, you can. It's up to them. You can transfer it online, or you can use those machines in which you throw cash in and it goes to your RAM cash account. So yes, if students just say, hey, I don't want to put in RAM cash throughout the break, but one fine day they decide that they want to put money into the RAM cash account, they can do so. Regardless of the fall breaks, regardless of anything, they can do so. So
My biggest concern with this is if not enough students sign up for the $40, housing and dining will not have enough money to provide any sort of food for any people staying during break. What is kind of your response to that concern?
We've had such conversations with the housing and executive director. So Mari Stramba. Well, the thing is, think about it this way. Students with more discretion over their money will find housing security and food security more feasible. So that means larger number of students will stay on campus, which would mean there's more activity on campus, which would result in the dining halls having more customers. Let's say, and moreover, as Rick explained the whole, sunk cost thing.
yeah, I mean, most of the classifieds and pretty much all the workers that work at the dining halls, except for student workers, they're on a contractual basis. So they don't have to spend any more amount in having them over the breaks. The only excess amount, I believe, would be electricity and food. Now, we are going to have a meeting with Mary Strong on Monday. So we're going to try and get out the finances and see exactly, how much would they need to keep themselves running and stuff like that. The goal here obviously is to benefit the more number of students and ensuring that they have more discretion. If dining wants, there are numerous ways in which they can figure out how many students would show up to eat on that particular day or that particular night, which would definitely bring the cost down. The cost over breaks aren't a lot. I can definitely tell you this because it's some cost. The costs they're already there. So if they are working or not working, the money is still going out.
Another thing is, I want to talk about when COVID-19 happened and campus shut down, they had the foundry open. Housing and
25
dining,
seconds left. So
housing and dining had to keep foundry open. And that's because they had an obligation towards the students that couldn't go home and had to stay on campus. I don't see there's a difference in the situation of students having to stay on campus during fall break and spring
Motion
break.
to extend my time by 5 minutes.
Motion's been made to extend Senator Silverheart's time by 5 minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it.
Sorry, I didn't want to lose
No, that's
time.
okay, that's okay. I'll start over again.
I
So,
appreciate it.
While COVID struck and the campus went completely online, there were a few students, including me, that stayed on campus. And one dining hall was open, Foundry, if anyone's aware. Housing and dining had to incur costs because CSU is obligated to students that do not have anywhere else to go to. Like for me, for example, I was stuck and I couldn't go home because flight bans and stuff. I don't see a big difference in this situation and the situation of students living on campus during the fall and spring break. I believe that housing and dining should still be incurring those costs, especially when there's some costs and the money is anyway going to be outgoing, because most of the employees that will be functioning during these fall breaks and spring breaks are not, they're basically paid every month. They're not really hourly employees, right? They have a contract. Yeah. I hope that answers your question. Does it?
Not really, but
Can you rephrase your question then? I'll definitely answer it.
I think it might be a conversation that may take longer than my 5 minutes and
Okay.
be discussed further later. And I have a few other questions. So with asking housing and dining to keep the dining hall open, that is going to cause them to pay more money for food and things like that, correct?
Yes.
So kind of going back to my concern, if there's all of this food that they're paying for, but then not a lot of students are going into the dining halls, that's a large cost that they're taking on, and
for sure.
that'll possibly, or do you think this will encourage them
So
to just shut down dining
No,
halls
no, no,
entirely?
no. So that they cannot shut, well, it'll be very very wrong ethically, morally, and even professionally for them to shut dining halls down. Well, we've also discussed with Maris Rambam on ways through which we can prevent food waste. And we do have the food security specialist, Julia, in our team that is dealing with this side. And we have discussed many ways through which we can make sure that food wastage is little. I'll give you an example just to answer your question for now, and also letting everyone else know. Last meeting with Mari Strambam, I and Director Rosler, Rick, and Julia, we discussed a way for students to make an order prior to the day they're going to go for a meal. So if I'm going to eat on a Tuesday, I'm going to choose what I'm eating on a Monday through online portals like Grubhub, and that'll allow housing and dining to have an estimate of how much food is going to be, eaten by students living on campus during that time. And that'll definitely minimize food waste.
Okay. I have one last question. I was provided some numbers regarding room rates during the regular school year. And just for living, the minimum is $27.62 per night. How are you expecting to ask housing and dining to charge less than the minimum rate during the school year? Because with any sort of like apartment, anything like that, the shorter time, or not really apartment, but like short-term leases and things like that, the price tends to increase the shorter you go. Because longer contract, you tend to stay there longer and they get some sort of benefit from it. It doesn't seem feasibly appropriate to ask the university to charge less over breaks than they would for students during the regular school year.
The reason we can ask university to charge less over breaks is because housing and dining is a non-profit organization. However, off campus, all leasing companies are profit-making companies. And secondly, even right now, they're asking $20 and just $20 currently and historically for the rent, right? So that $20 is anyway, we're not asking them to reduce this $20. We're just telling them, let the students have more discretion over the other half of the $20. So, well, if housing and dining chose the $20 figure historically to keep the campus running and to keep the residence halls operational, I don't see why they cannot keep doing that, even if students have more discretion over the other half of the money that is going towards dining and other food sources, eateries on campus, like the Subway. That's the only one that's open.
So real quick, I know there's just 9 more seconds, but Ramcast doesn't directly go to housing and dining unless they actually use it. It can go anywhere on campus.
So housing and dining did decide those $20.
Time for Q&A has expired since we are finished. All right, with that, we'll now move to our next on the speakers list, Chair Osterhout, which I recognize you for 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, hey y'all, appreciate seeing this legislation tonight.
I just had a couple of questions. I was curious the type of content, because you all keep mentioning meetings with Marty, and I know she was unavailable to meet here tonight, and I've been informed of everything going on as well, and I was just curious if there is that, let me see, the on-campus housing retention grant, why aren't we focusing marketing more on that? Because if students are financially unable to do so, why are we not taking opportunities through donors? Is my first question.
You're definitely trying to support the housing retention fund. And the reason why the marketing aspect of the retention fund is not on our shoulders. And the retention fund is made in such a way that it's not marketed according to Maurice Strombaum. Our goal initially was to bring in a bill, and also I'm an executive, so pull in some money from my office to this retention fund, so students that are facing financial difficulties while living on campus during these breaks can have more access to it. And we also increased the number of students and what kind of students can have access to this retention fund. Prior to our meetings, international students could not have access to this retention fund, but now they can. So we are definitely trying to get the retention fund a part of this. But while we get the retention fund to be a part of this, we're also trying to give students other alternatives to improve their chances of having better food security and housing security.
All right, thank you. And my follow-up question is, I know Marty believes, because they used to not charge rent cash, now they do, but she believes it's the best way to support students to offer rent cash just because they can choose where to eat. I was wondering how y'all feel about taking that away, even though hold on, even though the executive director thinks it's the best way to support students.
Well, the executive director, from our meetings with Maurice Strombaum, one thing was for sure, that the authorities and the toppest of the top executives are not aware of the ground realities. Students can only spend rent cash in just one other place during fall break and spring break. And that's the subway that's open at the Laurie Student Center. There's no other place except for the dining hall where rent cash can be spent. And secondly, the students can do just the same thing with money that is available in their pockets. So they have even more freedom to decide where they can spend money.
Right, thank you. And I was curious, have y'all thought of having Marty present here in ASCSU? Because I think having another perspective would be really beneficial for this legislation.
We definitely go with that. It's just been a hassle trying to schedule appointments with her because she replies. It takes us a couple of days to decide to reply. We reply. It takes a couple of days for her to reply. 2 weeks from then, we are able to schedule an appointment. So, which is probably why this resolution, even though it should have been tabled a long time ago,
is
tabled right now is because of the delay in scheduling appointments. Our goal was to have this thing in for the fall break, but given the fact that it's really hard to schedule appointments and get times, we had to delay it by so much. So yes, we would definitely have that. We are going to have a meeting with her on Monday, and we could try and ask her if she'd like to present.
Cool, thank you. My other question is, I know this legislation is targeting underrepresented groups here. I was curious about your collaboration with the SDPS representatives towards this legislation.
So from what I recall, we were trying to
Motion to extend my speaking time or my time to like 5 minutes.
Motion has been made to
Point of
speak.
order before that happens. You have 50. Chair has 54 seconds. The Q&A total time is 1:39.
Can I motion to make Q&A total time, maybe an extra 20 and mine a little extra 5?
Okay, we're gonna separate it into two motions. The motion has been made to extend. A motion has been made to extend Q&A by 20 minutes in total. Is there a second to that?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. You guys have it. And then for the second motion, a motion has been made to, for what purposes does the senator seek recognition?
I'd like to call for quorum.
A motion is made to call for quorum. We have to do that now. So we will now call for quorum. Okay. Open forum.
We have 17, do not quorum is. No, 18. We have 18, do not quorum is. Is that including those on Zoom?
You're totally right. I forgot about all of you. My apologies. It's 21. We're good. 24.
We have forum. We may continue.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Okay. For what purposes do you seek recognition, Senator Python?
Is everybody on Zoom actually present?
If they are on there, they are present. Before they're present, that was not a germane question. So we will now, okay, the motion has been made to extend by 20 minutes, and it has been passed. We're now going to motion to extend Chair Osterhaupt's time by 5 minutes. Is there a second to that?
Seconded.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. You guys have it? Motion passed.
Thank you. So I'll repeat my question, and I have a couple more. We gotta be choppy with it. But basically, my question was, this legislation is directed towards students of marginalized identities and communities. I was curious what your collaboration levels were with the SDPS representatives.
So yes, this resolution definitely is mainly to help marginalized communities, but it's also open to all in general. We don't specifically want to help just marginalized students, but everyone in general. And yes, I did speak to Mark, who's the director of the ISSS. Me, myself, I'm an SDPS senator. Deputy Director Vyas is the international programs?
Yes.
Yeah,
Affairs.
international affairs. So I also did speak to a lot of students. I brought this up for my own personal experience when I was a freshman. And I did speak to some of my residents. I had two international residents on my floor. I did speak to both of them, and they both did address some concerns regarding break housing and the money allocated.
Okay, thank you. And then my follow-up question is because you mentioned you wanted to donate some of your executive fund towards the on-campus housing retention grant. Is that correct?
We hope to.
And
No,
do you know you
it's-
really cannot
Yeah, we
do
cannot
that?
do that. We
Okay.
learned that later on. Yes, so
Yeah,
now we're
so-
deciding alternative solutions towards,
Okay, that
helping
was
the
just a
retention
confusing
fund.
statement.
Yeah.
That was my question, because you mentioned that and now you're saying you found out that's
I
not
mentioned
true.
that just to talk about the retention fund and to make the Senate aware of the existence of that retention fund and our intention about that retention fund. And yeah.
Okay, and
now
through your intention statement, you said you want to donate that, and I just want to clarify, you cannot do that.
We are aware. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I think the rest of my questions I have would be a great use of committee. I can't wait to see this legislation evolve into its fullest potential. I yield my time.
Okay, with that, Sir Nybert, Chair recognizes you for 5 minutes.
I yield to redundancy.
All right. Is there any other senator or associate senator wishing to ask a question who has not already asked one yet? Seeing none, we move to our secondary speakers list. Is there anyone who wishes to ask a question? This is anybody. All right, seeing none, I will move this to the University Affairs Committee.
And budgetary.
And budgetary, thank you. Senator Trout, for what purposes do you seek recognition?
I move for a 10-minute recess before old business.
A motion to be moved to a 10-minute recess has been made and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. 10-minute recess will begin.
I gotta go.
I wasn't expecting anything I need my wallet for that. Do I have to pay for things?
I touched it and now I have. I know. And then there's 4 on Zoom. That's 70.
What is the quorum?
On Zoom? It's 23. Right? It's 23, right?
I think it's 23.
It should be 23.
The reason why I'm asking is the associate senators aren't able to vote in that, are they?
That's, I have
Okay,
no
I
idea.
just didn't know if you would know.
1,
I think it's
2.
Okay.
Well, actually, wait.
Well, it says right there. I just looked at the participants.
Where
And
is
there's
it?
4. There's 4 outside of
Oh,
what's running it. So
Well, Jess Deerdahl doesn't count. She's the
no, she,
advisor.
yeah, no.
good point.
Say that. Piper, I don't. know
I don't think,
Piper.
no, I don't know.
And then Tennyson. So there's 2.
2.
2 on Zoom, so that's 19.
Okay.
So, yeah, basically like the gray area where.
So there's no quorum regarding reads. We're done.
Yeah, so that's. Yeah, that's it. So it's really important that people stay like.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Wait, what was that? Okay, well,
I heard you all say my name. Was it?
oh, it was just kind of, do you know quorum?
How many people are here tonight?
But now.
Because are you all just taking a break? A recess, okay. So it's a percentage of.
I'll call you.
It's a percentage of the voting representatives.
Oh, it's a percentage.
Someone's like, it's just a
Okay. I haven't done this tomorrow, but I was gonna stay.
This is all being recorded.
Yeah. We don't have to.
like, if everyone is.
Yeah,
okay.
neither I.
It's not. So,
Okay.
that's really-
Yeah.
Everything, yeah, except,
Parsing's good.
Yeah.
So, well, actually, caught me at a good time, because end of last week, basically.
You've forgotten a lot too, right? 'Cause you
Yeah.
were like taking on those weekend trips.
Yes, so, I actually did.
Say she looks like that. I did try as much as possible.
But this week, and end of last week.
But at the same time, you know.
It was. This week so far.
That's where I had kind of like eventually crossed.
Well, I know it's getting better.
Luckily, Tucker and Lee,
Or, I mean, I'm around the rest of the week, so if you're in the suits or you're stuff by, if not, we could definitely connect. Or maybe like during your show, that Tuesday.
Yeah. I found it.
Yeah, I actually am applying for some positions.
Nice,
So
okay.
we're gonna see if I
Which one are you?
So we have some role. Yeah, I guess. And then I was thinking. Well, we did before the. Because I guess. I did get it. Let's go. So I'm trying to go for. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did this. I'm gonna say that I want to. Really involved.
Yes.
So,
There
you
you
know,
go.
that's my mindset right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get out of it when you're ready.
Exactly, exactly. And I guess for. I gotta put your big. Yeah. I really like it. I like it. We have a second on Friday here.
Oh, nice.
And it's fun. I'm just trying to get.
Are you, do you have a date?
I'm bringing my birthday.
Oh, nice.
Because my, so my friend.
Yeah.
She's incredible. Yes. We counted. So.
The denominators all the blue lights and are very,
Oh, no. Yes.
There are harder.
What?
I have to speak in low loud. Yep. When you're now, what, like 2/3.
And this is just center, strictly center.
Are there any associates that are? Are there associates that are eligible for senators? But that's what
There's
that's
26.
If they do, then they come.
There's 26 senators that I have like on my list. And how many total?
So we've got either second or
You did just think that for county.
If it's 27. On the dice.
You didn't count me, right?
I did not.
I like having more fun.
I have nothing else to do.
Also, we're not doing character.
Oh, but you were saying. Whatever. You said it was, yeah. Figure it out. Yeah.
Great. But I don't know, I know it's gonna be
We're not really done at season.
Yeah.
gonna be more confusing.
Yeah, if you did the like thing that might just.
Yeah. And,
Did you test that benefit?
oh, yeah.
I haven't read that. Oh, yeah, it's okay. No, that's okay, that's okay. But also, I haven't say that. Huh? No, you're not.
Everything. So absolutely jealous. Oh.
Happy to, yeah.
All senators and associate senators members, please make your way back to your seats. Thank you.
Who left? Tucker left. So we don't have a quorum anymore.
Just Just Tucker doesn't get rid of.
It does.
Does it?
We just,
No, we had people on Zoom.
there's two, only two, we counted those.
We only
Oh, well, there were more.
Are they still there?
Well, the last time we counted.
Wait, we're not
No.
adjourning.
We just have three. Well, I don't know who Russell is.
Russell is.
Okay, yeah, then we just have two.
Yeah, they took an account of that, I think.
So then we're.
You're not getting those in the left hand stuff.
It's past 8:30.
That did not attend. That did not attend. I will have some more. Words. What's the word?
I'm not saying they're gonna catch something with these hands. These hands are ready for everyone. Raise your hands.
Yeah, so I get to choice. You don't have to use them.
Which I
we need to start making ASCSU when there's not.
I know people with ASCSU, they want for some job, but like some, they don't want the job. Yeah. Then there's like, nope, no, that's a good job. Oh, no.
Basically.
You're like, not a job anymore.
It's like pushing everything back from last time.
Hey, so they wanted.
Did you get the email?
I did. It wasn't me. It wasn't me asking a question, like the last part of the question, just the part. The first part was like supplemental, potentially something to consider. It's like accommodations, specifically like I have, my accommodation is online access, right? So it kind of relates. If it changes the way that the class works, so like labs, then I don't get my accommodation. But if it doesn't, and the teacher can't, if the professor can't prove that it changes the way that the lab works, then you get the recorded lecture.
Okay.
So that might be something to think about is like professors have to prove, hey, this is why I'm not going to do it.
Okay, probably just slight rewording of, yeah, so like the academic activities like labs, etc. If it doesn't prove, I'll read it again. I'm sorry.
No, it's all
I'm
good.
getting
It's
tired,
like,
yeah.
it's all good.
But I thank you so much on that.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for staying here so late.
Yeah, I got red. It used to be like $800.
Well, you're supposed to be minimum wage or something.
No, it's not. It's $2,000.
Yeah.
It's still a lower pay than all man.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's.
So call to order and let's see.
Yeah.
Hey, we do not have quorum. There are two options. We either adjourn or we go to a provisional session where we can continue our business, but we won't be able to officially approve it until we approve the minutes. When we say, do we approve
Consent agenda.
consent agenda, if there's no dissent in the next meeting, then everything we do today will be approved. We have a lot to do today and we keep putting it off week and week. So just want everyone to know that. Senator Silverheart, what purposes do you seek recognition?
I have some points of information regarding a few of the things you just said.
Yes.
So point of information, when you say dissent, does that mean if one person dissents, then the agenda isn't passed?
Then we go to a vote on the agenda or on the minutes for last week.
Point of information, is this a 2/3 vote, a majority vote?
A majority.
Okay.
No, so the way the consent agenda works is that it has to be unanimous, and if someone dissents to that, then we vote on every item individually. But the minutes specifically, I believe, have to be unanimous no matter what. I believe. Let me double check, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
Can you describe the difference between, you said minutes and then individual pieces?
Yeah, so a few weeks ago, we added bill, I don't know, it was a resolution, I don't remember what the resolution was, to the consent agenda. And if that had passed, it would have all passed. But it had dissent until we removed it. But had we not removed it, we would have had to vote on the minutes and then voted on that piece, so that bill. But if we go into a provisional meeting, everything counts under the minutes. So it'd just be one item, assuming no other items are added to the consent agenda, which I don't expect for you to think. Does that make sense? Okay, let me double check on the vote on the minutes.
Point of information, if someone dissents to the bills we have passed as provisional, don't we have to just go through the entire process again with each bill?
Under the consent agenda, it would just be a vote. It wouldn't be discussion or debate unless we opened that.
Okay, Senator Piper.
Is this open for debate?
We're not debating unless you have a point of information, a motion.
It should be debated.
Motion to open.
We can motion
Motion to open.
For how much? How long?
We'll take, I think we probably need 10 minutes.
Motion's been made for 10 minutes of discussion debate. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Discussion debate will happen. Okay, Senator Piper.
Obviously, since we don't have quorum,
Personally, I would say we probably should adjourn. There's a lot of groups here that will not be represented and will not have the proper voice. So yeah, we're speaking for multiple, not just our constituents.
I think we should not adjourn. I think we should go forward with it because what we're going to do right now is actually what we should have done last week. So if you're not going to do it today, we're going to be doing last week's work next week. So that's a 2-week delay, which is why I say we do it right now. If the senators had to say anything on the bus, I'm pretty sure they went through the agenda. They probably did not have anything to say on it, which is why they left. If they did have to say something on it, they probably would not leave, which is why I say we continue and do not adjourn.
Yield.
Yes, I yield.
Senator Silverheart.
I agree with a lot of the sentiment that Senator Correa has shared. As senators, we represent all students. And the senators that decide to leave or not show up tonight, they made that decision to not represent their students tonight. And that is a decision they're allowed to make. But we will continue to get behind and have more and more legislation that keeps getting pushed back if we do not continue with our meeting tonight. So I agree with Senator Correa and I yield my time.
Chair Welch, 5 minutes.
Point of clarification, do we not meet, or clarification, I think, do we not meet quorum including those that are on Zoom? Or
including those on Zoom, we do quorum.
Can associate senators that are present vote for
That's true.
senators?
That is true. If they are associate senator 4, then in place, then we can have quorum, but I believe we'll have to do another roll call for that.
Yeah, but I don't know if any associates are here that.
Is there any associate senators in Zoom or in person
That are missing a senator.
that are missing a senator? Okay, we do not.
I tried.
Chair Welch?
Yeah.
Please keep side conversations to a minimum or take them outside floor chambers. Thank you.
So first off, I want to say that two of the resolutions that are on the floor today, those were discharged last week. So no matter what happened last week, that we wouldn't have gone to them, we're just behind by 1, not 3. So we're kind of behind, but not really. This would happen no matter what. Secondly, one of the reasons why I think we should adjourn is because our parliamentarian and our speaker is not here either. So because of that, we're not working on a full step, and I feel like it's going to be hard for us to go through all the resolutions because we have nothing in Commerce Committee yet. So we're going to have to go by one by one. It's going to take a little while. And third is, I don't really trust. I think it's not having this. I feel like there is a chance that when we go next week, that some senators are going to dissent and vote no on what we do here and make it completely pointless. I think there's a good chance that might happen personally. And I yield my time, but I do unfortunately think we should adjourn tonight.
Tracy.
Yeah, I partially yield to Chair Welch. Secondly, in the bylaws, it says, speaking on the consent agenda, removed legislation shall be moved to its traditional location within the agenda. The consent agenda may only pass by unanimous consent. And it says that any voting member of the Senate may remove an item from the consent agenda except for the minutes, which implies that the minutes have to be voted on unanimously.
Senator Nybert.
I would just like to add that, well, I would like to get this done tonight, because obviously every week we get closer to finals is not gonna make this any easier, but we are actually only passing one, 3 bills? Okay, 3 bills tonight.
Resolutions.
And for 3 major items. If we do this tonight and then have to go through this again tomorrow, we will effectively have doubled the time that people who stay here will have spent doing this particular set of business, which it is not, I don't believe, worth it for everyone. The time to success ratio does not work out. In simple, I think we all have work we have to do, and it's either we get it done we do what we can as much as we can tonight. And hope that no one dissents tomorrow, which I have doubts about. Or we adjourn now, save as much time as we can, because we know next week we'll definitely go over time. I yield my time.
I was gonna say that not tomorrow, you mean next week. And also to Chair Welch is one of the argument speaker for 10-4 Jenkins is present.
You don't volunteer, and that was my main issue, so.
I can do it.
We'll be the Commerce Committee.
Okay, we're gonna keep going. Chair Welch for help. To recognize for 5 minutes.
Thank you. I like what Chair Welch had to say, and I just suggest we adjourn if we don't meet quorum. Just call it, adjourn it solely based on the vibes are off tonight. In all seriousness, I think if we don't have the right energy in the space, how can we get efficient work done? So I say adjourn.
Chair Morgan, to recognize you for 5 minutes.
I would say to adjourn as well. I mean, especially if we want to talk about equity concerns, like some of us have exams tomorrow, our ADM classes, and if you look around, there's not a lot of people here, so the discussions, conversations that are not going to be taking place. So we should say environmental energy and adjourn. I yield.
Chair Ritter. 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
I also say we should adjourn. We all have a probably got a big day tomorrow. It's getting close to finals. I have to agree with what Evan and, I'm sorry, Chair Welch has to say, and Chair Osterhout and Chair Morgan, because, vibes are off. Everyone's tired. We don't meet quorum. Everyone's going home. Clearly, there's a lot of heavy, probably workload going on in our personal lives. So I say we should adjourn for the night and call it a night and take care of our mental health and meet next week whenever we're bright energy. We're hyped for fall break to go home. So, it'll be a good time to meet again and then call it a night. Anyway, I yield.
Senator Williamson.
Oh, that was fun. Yeah, I would just like to say that I think that there is merit in worrying about if we adjourn tonight and don't get things done, it'll still add time in the future. However, I think that there is also room in the future for improvement in maybe changing the agenda in future weeks to get things like passing bills done a little bit earlier and doing doing Senate and Associate Senator updates maybe later. That there could be another solution to this to be found next week and or in the future that doesn't keep us here too late if we do adjourn tonight.
I move to approve this question.
Motion has been made to move the previous question. Is it seconded?
Seconded.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Okay, with that, we will continue on with any further motions. Chair Welch, to recognize you for 5 minutes.
I motion to adjourn the Senate meeting.
Motion has been made to adjourn the Senate meeting. Is it seconded? We're going to do a placard vote on this one. All in favor of adjourning, please raise your placard.
That includes you on Zoom. I think so.
Yeah.
12 here. Keep side conversations to a minimum.
I didn't count. Just one on Zoom.
All right, please put your placards down. All against, please raise your placards. And on Zoom? There are a few members on Zoom who has not voted.
Abstentions?
Okay. No abstaining. A vote of 14 to 4 to 1, supermajority 2/3 meeting, we adjourn. Yeah.
If you can use the microphone, if anyone wants to leave, can you explain like the strikes that senators get?
We adjourn.
No, it
It's just an after question.
Oh, okay.
Or whoever knows. Or can you tell it to
Um,
everybody? Because I feel like not a lot of people know.
So we didn't even take roll call at the end to appreciate the senators and associate senators who were here at the end.
Because are the senators who are leaving early, are they getting strikes?
They left after 8:30, so no.
Oh. If you leave after
It was like 8:31.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So if you leave before that, you get strike, so you need 5 hours. About 5.
I do the time thingy that says I'm doing time.
All right, I'm gonna end the Zoom. Thank you all for